Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to make this ruffle cardigan. Before you start, go ahead and click the link in the description box below so you can find out sizing information, all the materials you will need, plus the written pattern that you can follow along with if you would like. So I am using a 3-weight yarn and an H or 5.0 millimeter hook. You'll want to check your gauge because it may not match mine. So start with the beginning chain for whatever size you are making. I am not making a particular size. I'm just going to make a small sample, just enough to teach you how to make this cardigan. So depending what size you are making, the beginning chain will be different. So once you have your beginning chain, then you will yarn over and double crochet into the third chain from the hook, and then you will continue to double crochet all the way down the chain, and then this will be the first row of your back panel. So once you get to the end, you will chain 2 and turn your work. As you can see, I'm making a very mini size of this cardigan. As long as you follow that beginning chain number that you need for the size you are making, it will turn out fine. So I chain 2 and I am going to double crochet into that same stitch. So in this instance, the chain 2 is not a stitch. It's just getting to that second row. It's just getting me to that second row. So that's all this is going to be for the back panel. We're just going to keep double crocheting across, and then depending on what size you are making, it will be a different number of rows. So for example, a size large would be 30 rows. So go ahead and finish your back panel. It's just a chain 2 in the beginning, a double crochet in that same stitch and across, and you'll keep continuing until you have the amount of rows you need for the size you are making. So here my very small sample of the back panel is finished. Like I said, as long as you do your beginning chain for the size you're making, this will turn out obviously your size. I'm just making a very small sample. So next we're going to do the front panels. We're going to make 2. So check the pattern to see how many chains you need in the beginning for your front panels, depending on what size you are making. Oops. And we're basically going to do the same thing here. It's just going to be a shorter chain than the back panel. We are going to double crochet in the third chain from the hook, and we are going to continue to double crochet all the way down the chain. And that will be our first row for the front panel. We're going to chain up 2, and then we are going to double crochet across, starting in that first stitch. And we are just going to continue doing that until we have as many rows as we need for whatever size we're making. And it should be the same amount of rows that you did for your back panel. So go ahead and finish your front panel and then make 2 of those. So once you have your back panel and your 2 front panels finished, we are going to sew them together before we start the ruffle portion of the cardigan. So we are going to sew up the top, and I'm just going to use a whip stitch. You can use whatever method of seaming you'd like. I feel like this is the quickest way and one of the easiest ways to seam your garments together. So I'm just going to go through both loops on each panel and seam them together all the way. So once we've finished up the top seam, we're going to go ahead and seam up the side. We're only going to sew part of the side because we're going to want to leave a hole there for an armhole. Depending what size you are making, you will need to leave a different number of inches there for your arm. So here I'm just whip stitching up the side just like I did on the top. It's a little more difficult just because you don't have those even stitches. You're kind of just seaming them on the side, but just do your best to sew it up as evenly as you can, and then just remember to leave some space for an armhole. So now you can see that the first panel is sewn on. Go ahead and do the same exact thing for your second panel. So now that our panels are sewn on, we're going to flip it inside out so those seams stay in there. So when you flip it, this will now be the outside of your cardigan. When we start working on the ruffle, it may flip in and out. So just take a stitch marker and mark the outside so you know where the outside of the cardigan is and you know where the inside of the cardigan is. Now we're going to start working on the ruffle portion. So just flip your cardigan upside down. We're going to start in this bottom edge, attach your yarn, and we're going to chain up 2. This is the same for all sizes at this point. We're going to make 2 double crochets into that first stitch. And then in the next stitch, we're going to make 2 double crochets as well. And then in the next stitch, we are going to make 1 double crochet, and that is going to be the pattern that we will be following all the way around. 2 double crochets, 2 double crochets, and 1 double crochet. So go ahead and continue that pattern until you get to the end of the row. So once you get to the end of that row, we're just going to chain up 2, turn your work, and we're just going to double crochet 1 time into each stitch across, and we're just going to keep doing that until we have 19 rows of the ruffle portion, and that is for all sizes. So if you want to make your cardigan longer or shorter, you can just add or subtract rows, and that is basically it. We'll just need to do the armholes next. Now that we have our ruffle portion finished, we're going to work on the armholes. It's pretty easy. We're just going to attach our yarn, and we're basically just going to single crochet around. So once you attach your yarn, chain up 1, and then single crochet evenly around. Again, on this part, it's a little tricky because you don't have the even stitches. You are crocheting into the sides of the stitches. Just do your best to crochet around evenly. And then once you get to the end, you'll just have to slip stitch into the first single crochet that you made, fasten off, and then weave in your ends there. And then we'll do the same thing for the other sleeve as well. So the very last thing we need to do is weave a cord in and out of the cardigan. So we're going to find the row right before the ruffle part, and then we're going to weave in that cord. I'm going to leave a link below to show you how to make an I-cord. In this video I just did a chain to show you as a sample, but for me the I-cord was pretty difficult, so I can't make a video tutorial for you guys, so I'll leave a link below. But basically you're just going to weave this cord in and out, and that will finish up your cardigan. I hope this video tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy watching crochet tutorials, please subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for watching.